Good morning. My eyes are jacked up today. I've been trying to read some of your messages. If he saw his shadow, does that mean that we have spring's coming early? Please tell me yes. Oh my gosh. So the past couple days have been really hard. Um, Very hard. Yesterday, Shane had to work, so I was on my own yesterday and dealing with ice and cold weather and tr- let's see, when was that? Saturday, y'all. I can't even begin to explain how bad the weather was on Saturday. Okay, I can't begin to tell you. The wind was so like powerful. It was like 40 to 50-mile-hour wind on top of being like 5 degrees outside, wind chill factor of negative something. Like it was, I mean, I was like this trying trying to do farm chores. I felt like as though I was in a tornado. It was terrible. So I couldn't let any of the animals out of the I couldn't leave, I had to leave the chickens inside the chicken coop on top of leaving the animals inside the barn. It was absolutely horrible. But I filmed it for y'all. So that video will come out Tuesday. All right. My eyes are kind of janked up today. Let's see. Where do I begin? Oh, I know where I'll begin. I wrote, I had a situation happen, which I'm going to tell you about. But I wrote myself a letter. And I can't decide if I should read. I'll read y'all the letter first. I was writing down my feelings about this situation, and I'll tell you the situation in a minute. But what we're going to talk about today is finding your support system. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about. I wrote these notes down. You really don't learn who your support system is when life is calm. You learn it when life is out loud, messy, overwhelming, and heavy. You learn it when you're tired, when you're stretched thin, when your heart is hurting and your mind won't slow down. That's when you notice who your support system is. You notice who checks on you. You notice who shows up without being asked. You notice who listens instead of trying to fix it. You notice who gives grace when you don't have much left to give. And you notice the silence. You notice who disappears, who only shows up for good parts, who doesn't know what to say when there's nothing to say at all. And here's what I've learned. It's not always the people you expected. Sometimes your support system looks like a spouse who lets you cry without trying to solve a problem, a friend who sends you a simple thinking of you, a stranger online who leaves a kind comment, a neighbor who shows up at the right time, a follower who becomes family. And sometimes the people you keep reaching for, they don't reach back. That part hurts. I won't lie. But there's a quiet peace that comes when you stop chasing people who aren't meant to hold you up and start appreciating the ones who actually are. Support doesn't always come loud. Sometimes it comes steady, constant, and gentle. I'm learning to stop looking at who isn't there and start being grateful for who is. Because those are the ones that matter. If you're walking through a season where you're learning this too, you're not alone. Look around, your people are closer than you think. Now for the story. All right. Was it last week? Yeah. Last week, I went to see Larry. And I walked into the room, and I already knew they told me that he was having trouble with his hearing, which I'm like, girl, you have no idea. It is so hard for both parties when you can't hear. It's hard for the person who can't hear, and it's hard for the people that are trying to talk to you and you can't hear. I know that personally because I am having a little bit of trouble with my hearing. So I understand what it's like to be on both sides of the spectrum, because I dealt with Larry when he lived here with hearing, and now I'm dealing with myself with hearing. Well, I walk into the room and he was excited to see me, and the nurse was in there, and I'm talking to him, and it's one thing to be hard of hearing, but it's another ball game when you can't hear at all. And Larry has lost all of his hearing. All of it. Completely. Like, he can't hear at all. Not hard of hearing. He can't hear at all. And I've noticed when I visit, I noticed it was getting worse and worse. And I even said to Shane, I said, his hearing has gotten terrible. And I thought it was from his concentrator, because when he lived here, I had his concentrator in another bedroom, and he had this really long cord. So the concentrator is really loud. And at the nursing home, his concentrator is right by his bed. And it's like, it's loud. So I thought he was losing his hearing because there's like this loud humming noise, in the background. But when I got there this week, he had completely lost his hearing. So I asked the nurse, I was like, can that happen? Like, I mean, it's, it was already bad to begin with, but I said, can you just, like, one day wake up and you can't hear nothing? And she said, not generally. She said, he's saying his ears are clogged up. So I talked to the doctor about it, and we're going to prescribe him an eardrop to try to clear out his ears, because it could be earwax. Okay, this is what I don't like. When Larry was at TLC nursing home, an actual doctor came around to visit. Well, Larry's on hospice, so he sees the nurse. And a nurse, well, I would say when he was seeing the doctor, a doctor doesn't walk around with that ear thing to look in your ear. I mean, he walks around with what's it called? A stethoscope. He walks around with that to listen to your lungs, but he don't walk around with that ear thing to look in your ear, right? I mean, they check your blood pressure, they check your oxygen, they check your pulse, and they check your heart. They don't just walk around with the ear thing, whatever it's called. And so in my head, I'm like, so we're guessing. Like, we're just going to guess that it's earwax or fluid. We're just going to guess. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So after the hospice nurse left, I walked up to the desk and I said, do y'all not have one of those ear things that you can look in his ear to see if it's wax? And and I got busted because I didn't realize the hospice nurse was standing right there with her. So I got busted. And she said, no, we don't had that. And the hospice nurse said, well, Judy, I talked to the doctor, and the doctor's prescribing that eardrop to see about, getting rid of earwax. And Larry has had earwax in the past, but it's never been where he's just lost his hearing. So I got embarrassed because I said that in front of the hospice nurse, and it embarrassed me a little bit. So anyway, I'm like, I guess you just guess at it when you get to this age. I mean, I just don't understand. But anyway, in order for me to communicate with Larry, because he was getting frustrated that he couldn't hear what I was saying, and he kept asking me questions. And he was asking me questions like, your Jeep good? And if I would say yes, he couldn't understand. Like, I had to go, So I finally decided to get my phone and go to notes. Because he was wanting me to talk. He wanted me, like, if this was my head, he was wanting me to talk right here into his ear. And I'm like, Larry, we're not doing that. Like, I will just type. You ask me the question and I will type. So he was okay with that because he could understand what I was saying. I was like, the animals are fine. Everything's going good. Shane's fine. He wanted to know if Shane was hunting. He was worried about me being in the cold weather by myself. And so we communicate through typing. Well, he said, are you going to take me for a ride around the nursing home in my wheelchair? And I text him. I said, have you been doing it without me? And I already knew the answer, because the nurses have been trying to get Larry to get out of the bed. He won't. He will not get out of the bed. And I'm like, dude, that's why he's in the nursing home. He wouldn't. Same thing was happening here. And so it has nothing to do with being in the nursing home, because Larry did that here in my house for 1 solid year. Would not come out of his room. So I texted him. I said, are you getting out of the room with the nurses or by yourself? And he said, I can't. And I said, why can't you? And again, we're talking through the phone, like through notes. And I said, why can't you? He said, I don't know how. You don't know how to get out of the room? So me and my little self, I'm gonna show him how, right? So he gets out of the bed. He walks. Did you hear me? He walks to the wheelchair. Okay. Sits in the wheelchair. I take him out to the hallway. And there's a lot of people in the hallway that are sitting in wheelchairs, that are walking with their feet in the wheelchairs. And I said, look at how all these people are walking around in their wheelchairs. Some are using the wheel, and some are just taking their feet and walking. So I said, look, just sit here and observe. I want you to observe what's happening. And what was happening is people were going to see the dog, playing with the dog. People were chit-chatting about football. I mean, there were people, sitting around drinking coffee together. I said, I want you just to observe what's happening outside this door, because people are socializing. So then I took his foot pedals off the wheelchair, and I'm typing. I said, I want you to walk with your feet like these other people. He takes his heels and he pushes back. I said, what are you doing? I can't go forward. You can't walk forward, but you can push your heels to go backwards. So I said, Larry, quit pushing backwards. Walk forward with your feet. He is sitting there pretending like He can't do it. And he says to me, I'd rather you push me. Well, I guess you would. I was getting frustrated. I was getting really frustrated at Larry because Larry will not do anything himself. He waits on JUDY, which is why I got so exhausted, because Larry could walk to the kitchen, but he'd rather me make his food. He could walk to the table and eat with Shane and I, but he would rather me bring the food to him in his bedroom. He could walk to take his plate to the sink, but he would rather put the plate on the counter and me come in there and pick up the plate and take it to the kitchen. Larry is so dependent of me. So I got frustrated at Larry because no matter what I did or the nurse did to try to get him to walk forward in that daggum wheelchair, he wasn't doing it. And I said, Larry, I'm typing this, okay? I'm not talking to him. I'm typing. I said, Larry, there's one of me. There's one of me. And I have to take care of myself. I can't come up here every day and push you around in the wheelchair. At some point, you have got to accept responsibility and do things for yourself. When the nurse walks in here and says, hey, let's go walk around the nursing home, you're going to have to allow her to do that. You cannot sit in this bed and wait on me. I can't be here every day. But instead, Larry wants Judy to do it. So I left the nursing home bawling my eyes out. I was having a really bad day. I'm like, this is the hardest thing I have ever done in my entire life. The hardest thing. Like, I am trying to make really good, right decisions for Larry. Scout's honor means, if you don't know what this means, it means that when I do Scout's honor, it helps me not cry. Okay, so Scout's honor that I'm not going to cry today. Okay, so I am trying to make right decisions for Larry. And the right decision for Larry is for him to be with people that he can hit a button and say, I need a cup of coffee. Can I have a snack? Can I have some water? Will you come help me do this? And he is in the right place. But I left crying and upset. And I was like, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? And I said to myself, I'm like, I feel as though I'm all alone. I feel as though it's me handling it all. And I was like talking to myself, and I was like, what do I need? And I was like, I need a support system. I need help. I can't run to the nursing home to walk Larry around the nursing home just to get him out of the bed. I'm dealing with Medicaid. I'm dealing with the financial portion of this. I'm dealing with watching him decline. I've done this. My Scout's honor is not working. I've taken care of Larry in my house, just Shane and I, for 8 years. Not one time has anyone said, what can we do to help you? I feel alone. And I often wonder if I would have had a little bit of help from my family saying, hey, let me take Larry for the weekend, or Larry's family at that. Hey, let Larry come here for a week. Let me give you and Shane a break. I wonder if I would have felt refreshed instead of doing it every single day for 8 years. Actually, it's almost 9 years that I've done this. I wonder if I would have not gotten to the point where I felt like I needed to put him in a nursing home. I wonder if I could have done it. If I had just a little bit of a break. Might as well just stop putting makeup on. So I got home that day and I got an email for specialty pharmacy for $500, $500 and something for Larry. Okay, you got to keep in mind when you go to the nursing home, you have to exhaust all your money down to $2,000. Okay. I get this $500 and Larry has less than $2,000. He's got a couple of $100 in the bank. Okay, let's just put it that way. So I get this $500 prescription drug bill. I'm already crying because Larry is pulling one over on me in the nursing home, pretending like he can't walk when he can walk. And I'm like, I'm already feeling like chaos in my head. And I come home and I get this $500 bill from specialty pharmacy. And I'm like, wow, this is so much fun. Larry has no money, so I guess Shane and I are going to have to pay for this. So the first thing that I did was I called specialty pharmacy and I was like, what is this for? Because one of the prescriptions was nystatin. I don't know if you know what nystatin is, but it's for a yeast infection. Like, a yeast infection? Like, Larry hasn't taken nystatin. So I felt like some of the bill was not right. So I called specialty pharmacy and I said, what is this? And she said, well, this is the prescriptions that he's taken when he was on respite care in the nursing home. Why is he on nystatin? Why wouldn't I know why wouldn't anybody call me and say, hey, Larry's got a yeast infection? I don't know. Maybe they use nystatin for something else, but I was like, something's not right. So they were like, you're going to have to call the nurse. You're going to have to call nursing home or hospice. I don't know. Okay. So that was already one phone call to specialty pharmacy. Second time I send it to hospice. And they were like, you weren't supposed to get that bill. The nursing home was supposed to send the bill to us. So then I called the nursing home. And I'm like, hey, I'm getting this bill. I don't know what it's for. And then she says, it's supposed to go to hospice. So then I call hospice back and they're like, email us the bill. Okay. I know you can relate to me when I say this, but you know how when you're trying to resolve a problem with a bill and you have to be on hold and you call people like 5 times, by the time you've talked to the 5th person, you're mad. You're mad. And I got to the point where I was just like, it's enough to deal with Larry at the nursing home, but now I'm dealing with all the financial bull crap that comes behind it. I feel all alone. And then I thought, well, what if I don't pay it? If nobody can tell me why he was on nystatin, what if I just don't pay it? What are you going to do? Take him to collections? Like, what are you going to do? You know? But if I let Larry's credit get ruined, oh my gosh, Larry would have my head. Okay? So I go to the mailbox to get the mail. And there's another $500 bill in the mail for Larry's homeowner insurance. I'm like, I'm about to lose my mind. I'm about to lose my mind. So I'm bawling. Then I get the call for Medicaid. Larry hasn't been approved for Medicaid yet. I don't know if you've ever dealt with Medicaid, okay? I'm new at all this. So I get this interview call. Why is this? Why is that? Why is this? Okay, first of all, you got to keep in mind that I did not have Larry's checking account 5 years ago, okay? So I am trying to figure out what the crap Larry spent money on and why this, why that. And so at this point, I'm in nervous breakdown mode, right? Like, that's a lot to take into one day. I'm in literally nervous breakdown mode. So I send a family member, not going to call names. I send a family member. Well, I called a family member first. It went straight to voicemail. And then they text messaged me and said, hey, I'm on an airplane. I said, okay, great. So I text his wife and I said, do you have a second to talk? And she said, sure, call me. So I called her on the phone and I'm bawling my eyes out, telling her what I'm dealing with. And to make a long story short, within minutes, the whole conversation was turned around into the Lord has led her on a journey with autism. So the whole conversation, I needed a support system. I'm having a nervous breakdown. The whole conversation turned into what the Lord was doing in her life. And then it turned into someone walked into the door and she said, hey, can I call you right back? Sure. A few minutes later, I get a text message that said, my husband, his flight just came in and I have to clean the house before he gets home. Which meant she wasn't calling me back. I'm sitting having a nervous breakdown. The next day, I never got a call back. I never got a text message, just total crickets. And then the next day, I got a text message. I'm praying for you. I want you to know that you're not alone. Well, I don't see you. I don't hear from you. I don't, you're not helping me with Larry, but I'm not alone. I'm not alone. And I just sat there and I was like, wow. 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 I was like, I really need to break this down because a couple of days later, I had to reach out about Larry's homeowner's insurance. And I wished you could be on a phone call with me when I'm talking to my family. How do I put this? They're just really busy. Busy. They're really busy. I don't know if you've ever had a phone call with somebody that really wasn't listening to what you had to say because there was all this distraction with kids and dogs and work, and but every time I call, I I could say, okay, I'm fixing to make I could say this to myself. I'm fixing to make this phone call and I'm having a nervous breakdown and they're going to tell me their boss is calling. Happens every single time. Maybe it's true. Maybe the boss really is calling. Maybe they're so busy and so caught up in their own lives that they don't have time to fool with Larry's life or my life. What does that mean? The definition of insanity is when you do the same things over and over and over and get the same results. You're looking for a different result, but the same thing keeps happening. When you continue to do it over and over and over and hoping for a different response, that is called insanity. And I am in insanity, okay? Because I keep thinking that these people are my support system because they're all I have. And they're not. They don't have time. They have their own lives. They have jobs, they have children, they have their own lives, and they have no clue because they've never been through it. They've never had to put someone in a nursing home. They don't know what it's like to deal with Medicaid. They don't know. And I sat there and I was like, Judy, what are you doing? And I felt in my heart, I'm like, this hurts me because I want these people to be my support system. I don't want anybody else. I want these two people to be my support system. And they're not. And it almost feels like it's another whammy. It's like I'm dealing with Larry declining. I'm dealing with Medicaid. I'm dealing with all these financial burden. I'm dealing with Larry playing me. I'm dealing with these people are not my support system. And I feel so let down. Because I'll be honest with you, I don't have a big family, which throws a whole new PTSD into the game. I don't have a mom. I don't have a dad. I don't have a grandmother. I don't have an aunt and uncle that help. I don't have my brothers. I don't have a sister. I don't have anybody that understands, really. I don't have people going, you okay? I don't have people saying, hey, you don't go to the nursing home the next 2 weeks. I'll do it. I'll go check on Larry. You stay home and do what you need to do. I've got Larry for 2 weeks. I will go once a week to the nursing home. You don't worry about it. I don't have a support system. I don't. And I feel very disappointed. I feel very, very disappointed. And I do not handle things well. This is what I wanted to do, because anger sets in when you realize that you don't have a support system. Anger sets in, and I'm like, I'm done. Yeah, I'll get like this. I'm done. I'm done calling. I'm done talking. I'm done. I am done. Put a fork in it. I am done. Because I'm the type of person that'll take it, and I'll take it, and I'll take it, and I'll take it, and I'll take it. And I will take it for a long, 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 long time. But when I'm done, I'm done. I will walk away and I will never look back. That's how I am. And in my head, I'm like, I'm just going to block them. Just going to block them. I get them out of my life. Get them out. I'm done. I'm done. Just blocking them all. And then I was like, is that what God would want me to do? Okay, that was not nice, Judy. That's not nice. Like, just blocking them is not nice. Just stop it. Stop. Calm down, Judy. Take a chill pill. Take a chill pill. But that's how I felt. And then I was like, what does a support system look like? I told you about my grandmother and her brothers, and how when my great grandmother went to the nursing home, each one of the siblings went to visit. They gave each other a turn. They all four of them. They took turns, and that one would go see Mama on Tuesday, one would go see Mama on Wednesday, one would go see Mama on Thursday. I mean, my grandmother had the best support system I've ever seen in my life. Okay, so I don't have the support system that I want. I want these people to be my support system. And these people that I'm talking about is people that you would think would be your support system. Like people that got you back, right? Many people deal with not a supportive family. It's the saddest thing. It's really, really sad when you don't have, when you feel like all your family members are gone but a few. And then those few are so busy in their own life that they can't see outside their own life. I thought in my head for just a minute, I thought, when I sent a text message and said, can you talk? And within a few minutes of the conversation, we were talking about how the Lord was working in her life. And then she got off the phone with me. She'll call me back. And then she texted me and told me she had to clean the house. And then she texted me and told me I'm not alone. I wonder what would happen if I had reached my limit. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. But what if I said, I can't take this anymore? When someone calls you and they're bawling their eyes out, that person's hurting. Very badly. Brushing off a phone call when on the other line someone is saying, I feel all alone. And your response is, you're not alone. And I'm like, well, you don't call. I don't ever see you. You don't go see Larry. If I'm not alone, where are you? Because I can't see you and I can't hear you and I can't touch you. And you want to tell me I'm not all alone, but you're nowhere in sight. I can't call you and talk to you. You don't check on me. You don't come visit Larry. You have no idea what it's like to be me. So I thought in my head, if the definition of his insanity is you keep going to the same people for the same support system and they fail you every single time, why do you keep going back? And I'll tell you why you keep going back. When it's your best friend or family member or someone that you want to be your support system, it's almost like you've got to grieve because they're not your support system and you go through grief. And it takes a minute for you to stop calling because they're not your support system. And it hurts because you want them to be your support system because maybe they're family. You're like, but this is all I have left. I don't have anybody else left. It's hurtful. So what do you do about it? What tool do I have in my pocket to get me through this? The tool that's in my pocket is when I pick up this phone to call my support system, the tool that's in my pocket is, Judy, is this your support system? Before you punch this number in, expecting them to be your support system, are they going to support you? The tool in my pocket is to ask myself that question because I want it to be them. Why can't they give me what I need? Why can't they see what I need? I'm telling them this is hard. This is so hard. You have no idea. I'm not handling this well. Like, it's not like I don't paint the picture. I'm like, dude, I am not handling this situation well at all. Hello? The tool that's in my pocket is to pull out and ask myself, is this your, before you call this person, is this your support system? Because when I get off the phone with them, I feel worse. I don't feel better. I feel worse because when I get on the phone with them, if you could hear, it's almost like, oh God, if she does not shut up and get off this phone, like, oh my God, I hear the same thing all the time. She's like a broken record. She says the same thing. Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. I ain't got time to sit here and listen to this chick. She's like a broken record. She says the same crap over and over and over. I do. I do say I am a broken record when it comes to Larry. I am. I do feel all alone. You know why I feel all alone? Because Shane and I are all alone. That's why. That's why we feel all alone. Because we are all alone. Okay. How do you know who your support system is? How do you find your support system? If you want it, let's just say that you want your support system to be your family. Okay? Let's just say that you're feeling like me. And you want your, let's say you want your support system to be your family. And it's the same thing. It's like a dead end. It's like a broken record. I do believe you have to go through grief. How do you find your support system? Well, I feel like sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes like you can have friends, let's just say, and it's almost like when it comes to let's talk about the financial burden of what I'm going through. Like when you start getting $500 bills in the mail and Larry has no money and you just feel overwhelmed, it's kind of like you would rather go to a family member because you just don't want to go to a friend because you run to a family member because you think they understand more what you're going through because they know the person well, where maybe a friend just knows what you tell them. Though we know your side of the story, right? They don't know the other side of the story. They just know your side. So I think as you try to find your support system, who has your back no matter what? Who doesn't try to solve your problems? They try to walk you through your own problems by maybe sharing stories with you about similar things they've been through. when they say, hey, I'm sorry, but someone just pulled in the driveway. I'll call you right back. They're the person that calls you back. Your support system hears your pain and they're concerned. Your support system knows you inside out. They know that you're having a bad day through your voice without you even saying it. They can tell by looking on your face that you're having a bad day. Like, you can't hide anything from your support system. Your support system is the person that is there for you in good times and bad times. Your support system is the person that if you need to talk on the phone for 2 hours to get you through it, even if they're not in a situation where they can talk at that moment, when they say they're calling you back, they're calling you back. The clean house can wait because there's an emergency situation. This girl is bawling her eyes out. That is your support system. You have got to not be like me and learn who is your support system. Many a times, you may want it to be a family member. It may be, your support system may be a family member. I have a support system. I have a girl, let's just say, that is a family member of mine, that is my support system. Why didn't I call her? Why didn't I call my best friend? Why do I keep calling this support system that is not my support system? Why am I a broken record and keep repeating the same thing? I call the same person expecting different response, and I get the same thing over and over and over again. Why do I do that to myself? That is the $1 million question. Why didn't I call my support system? I have a support system. Why didn't I call them? I have no clue. I have no clue why I keep doing that. I think it's because of PTSD. I really do. I believe in my heart, I have got some severe PTSD of wanting a family. And I think it comes from having a mom get sick when I was in high school, and I'm reaching out for the little bit of family that I have because I don't have much. I'm reaching out. They ain't got time for me. I'm a broken record. I say the same crap every time I get on the phone. I wear them out. I wear them out. That's not my support system. But that doesn't mean that I have to block them and never talk to them again. They are my family. And it's okay. They do love me. They're just not my support system. And that's okay. It doesn't mean they're bad people. They're just not my support system. You know, I told you I'm extreme one way or the other. I'm going to block you and never talk to you again, or I'm just extreme. Even with eating, I'm either going to eat everything inside or not eat at all. I'm very like my emotions are very extreme, and I have to recognize that and go, you're somewhere in the middle, Judy. Go somewhere in the middle. My family's not bad. They just are not my support system. They don't want to hear it. They don't have time to talk to me. They don't have time to check on me. They don't have time to go see Larry. They don't have time for that. That is not my support system. I have to reach out to my support system. My mom told me when I was a little girl and I was having problems with a friend at school, and I remember the day she told me this. She goes, Judy, you're only going to have a few friends that are your true friends. And this girl that's in competition with you is not your friend. And I remember in high school, I thought she was my best friend. And my mom was trying to explain to me that as someone that has competition with you is not your best friend. And I couldn't be convinced at the time that she wasn't my best friend. When you truly have a best friend, I don't know. I can name 2 people in my life. I can name 2 people in my life that knows me like the back of their hand. That can read me like a book. That is my support system. It is important to have a support system. Because there's going to be days where you go through grief or you go through an issue and it's hard. And there's going to be days that you don't understand what you're trying to say or what you're thinking. There's so much confusion in your head that you need a support system. Trying to keep it all in, and sometimes you may have been hurt by someone and you're like, I'll never open up again. They hurt me. They hurt you because they're not your support system. Finding your support system is hard, I feel like. It's hard to know who you can trust, who you can talk to, who you can open up to, because sometimes you think your support system, you've opened up to someone because you think it's your support system, and then they use that against you. And then you realize really quick that they're not your support system. And you're like, oh my gosh, I just opened up to this lady and I've told her everything. And I realized that she's not my support system. Oh my gosh. Like she knows everything about me and she's not my support system. What am I going to do? It's hard to know who your support system is. Now, keep in mind that your support system, it doesn't mean that you've never gotten in an argument with them, or it doesn't mean that, I don't know, it doesn't mean your relationship with them is perfect. You know who your support system is. I don't have to tell you. If you dig deep, you know who your person is, or your couple of people around of friends are. You know who your support system is. I don't have to tell you. If you really sit and think about it, who's your person? Who's your go-to person? Sometimes your support system is somebody that you don't even talk to on a daily basis. Sometimes that support system is somebody you're like, man, I don't talk to her for months, and all of a sudden I know I can call her. Like, I know she's got my back. Like, we don't talk every day, but I know that if I go to jail, she's getting me out. You know what I mean? Like, you know that person. You know that person that has got your back no matter what. Your support system doesn't mean you have to talk to them every single day. You know who your support system is. And if you're like me and you're going to the wrong support system and you're expecting, I don't know, your family, let's just say, to be your support system, it hurts. Because you want this certain person to be your support system. They can't be. They're not strong enough. Like I'm a lot, y'all. I'm a lot to take in, okay? I am. And if you know me my whole life, you know that I'm a lot. Like, I'm not for everybody, okay? I'm not. And maybe you're not for everybody. And that's okay. That's okay. But don't be like me. Don't go to the wrong people. And you feel like in your head, you're like, my family should be there for me. My family should have my back. I'd do it for them. That's what's so crazy. I'm their support system. I'm here to tell you right now that I got their back. And they know it. When they're struggling, I'm right there. I call myself Jane Glasscock. That's my mother. My mom may not be here, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to step up and be the grandmother that I need to be to people that are not my grandkids. I got their back. Just because they can't be my support system, does that mean I can't be theirs? You got to be a really strong person to be somebody's support system, but they're not yours. Does that even make sense? Maybe I think I'm their support system. I'm really not. You know what I'm saying? Shane has been my rock when it comes to Larry. I feel like Shane is the only person in this entire world that understands what I'm talking about. And the reason I say that is because Shane has lived with Larry for 9 years. Shane goes to the nursing home and sees the same things I see. Like, Shane's there in person. It's one thing for me to explain it over the telephone or somebody that doesn't know Larry, but Shane knows Larry just like me because he's lived with him for almost 9 years. He knows him. He's like, Judy, he's playing you like a fiddle. Judy, 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 he plays you. And he does. And it's sad. And it's hard on me to be played when I'm the one that has never left his side. You know? But this childlike behavior, it doesn't have a name. Although I've put a name to it. I firmly believe, I've said it a gazillion times, I'm dealing with autism, is what I'm dealing with. That's exactly what I'm dealing with, is autism. And unfortunately, I don't have a lot of tools because I have no education when it comes to autism. It wasn't like I was raised with Larry. I don't know Larry. I don't know anything about his family. He's my stepdad. He didn't marry my mom until I'd already graduated high school. I never lived with Larry, you know? So like Larry didn't raise me. So like there's a lot of confusion when it comes to dealing with Larry. Larry's a lot. Dealing with Larry it's a lot. And if you've ever dealt with someone with autism, okay, like if you've dealt with a child with autism, you're way a step of the ball game when you're going to therapy and you learn about autism and you learn how to deal with them, and there's therapy to help. It has been thrown in my face. I had this adult with autism that has never been diagnosed and nobody understands him. I have no tools in my pocket to know how to deal with autism. Like I'm this person that's just like floating in the air going, what? Like what? Like I feel like I need to go to an autism adult caregiver and counseling or something. And I would go. I truly would go if I knew how to deal with Larry so that I'm not crazy myself. I would do it. I would go. But unfortunately, I'm dealing with a person that's almost 80. And I don't even have family members that are autistic. I don't know how to deal with it. I don't pretend to have it all together. I don't. And oftentimes I feel all alone in this battle. And I guarantee you, if I had a mother who has, let's just say, a 5-year-old that just figured out their kid was autistic, and they're like, what do I do? Where do I go? What do I do? I feel your pain. It's different because my person is not 5, but it is hard. It is so hard to deal with. Okay, guys. Thanks for joining me this morning. I want to say this. You people that I've never met in my life, I'm getting the preaching stick out. You people that I have never met in my life are so good to me. You're so good to me. I have, God, I just crybaby today. I have some of the best followers out there that show up to support me. And I hope, get the sponge back out. This isn't a makeup sponge. This is a dry your tear sponge. I need to get one for just for tears. I hope that I make you feel just as important as you are to me. I'm not a creator. I'm a friend. I spill my guts out in these lives. I'm raw, I'm real, and I'm honest. And why do I do that? Why am I so real? I'm real because I want you to know you have a support system. I would run to your help in a second. Thank you. You have choices in life. Sitting it out is running after a support system that is not your support system. It is a dead end and it leaves you empty inside. Dancing is reaching for that tool before you call that person and go, "Hey, Judy, Jackleg, is this your support system you're about to call?" And if the answer is no, call your support system, because that's what I call dancing, is knowing who your support system is. It doesn't mean those people are bad. They're just not your support system. I hope that this video helps you. I love you. I truly do. You have a choice. What are you going to do today? What are you going to do this week? Are you going to sit it out? Or are you going to dance? And I hope you dance. I will see y'all Wednesday. Love you so much. Bye.